Hey everyone, it's Franco, your business vlogger here, and I'm here with a few friends. And we meet here many times a month, generally once a week. And we discuss a lot of each other's goals on social media. So Tatiana is working on her Instagram account, as is Kellen. And then we have Erwin here, who first time being here actually.
Yeah.
And he's working on his YouTube with Andrade, sorry. And he's also working on YouTube, as am I. So today we're going to actually have a presentation led by Tatiana. She's going to be discussing. Give me 1 second while I get the presentation on here. Let me see. She's going to be discussing marketing in corporate America. So I'm going to set down the camera right over here, and then Tatiana will be able to talk to us about it.
So I'm going to go over marketing corporate America. Basically, I'm going to talk about my experience. I did that for three years. So I'll just go over like basically the marketing organizational chart, the job descriptions that I had on my marketing team, my job overview, so like my skills and responsibilities and things I learned in the whole, wearing many hats. The marketing campaign workflow, so how it kind of goes from the top down. Different marketing campaign types that I worked with, social media strategy, the measuring metrics for social media and website and why they matter, marketing tools that I found along the way, social media and marketing tips, and just closing it out. And you guys can give me questions at the end.
Gotcha.
So let's jump into it. So again, my purpose of this presentation is to share my marketing experience in a large corporate company. Again, it was a lot of wearing many different hats. My lessons learned from it, my time being spent there, and then just like the insight and planning that goes behind the scenes. Because a lot of people think marketing, they just think branding for corporate, or like a logo and a lot of different things. So I learned actually a lot. It was my first full-time job out of college, and I jumped into it. More focused on the events when I started, and then kind of very expanded, and I got to work a lot with different people on my team. It was like content, as well with digital marketing. So I kind of learned a little bit of everything. So I thought it was like a really good experience for me. So there's a quote that Seth Godin, he is a leader in the marketing world. He has a lot of different books that talk about like leadership, marketing, and just like business in general. So one of his quote, and I picked this quote because it reminds me a lot of what the marketing goal is. Persistent, consistent, and frequent stories delivered to an aligned audience will earn attention, trust, and action. So that's kind of like your end goal, and just like it kind of describes the strategy of what you more want to be doing.
Yeah.
So I'm on the organizational chart now. So usually you have like the CEO on top, the CEO or president, and then under it's CMO, Chief Marketing Officer. And then from there, it depends where you are, but if you have a larger corporation, there's a lot of different, you can go to marketing director, and then the marketing director will manage then more of the team, like hands-on. So where I worked, we had marketing manager, content manager, and a partner management, that was something separate. Not every company has that, but it's working with a lot of our partners. So like funding, promotional things that get discussed, like how we can align, help each other, basically, like our partners.
So they're like responsible for the relationships.
Right, yeah. And then, so that was the manager tier, and then under you have either like marketing specialist, digital specialist, and the graphic designer. Digital specialist and graphic designer both report to content manager, and then marketing specialist reported to marketing manager. And that was a lot of like the field marketing with the sales team, like the events, anything customer facing usually. And the company I worked for was very sales oriented, so a lot of like lead generation. So a lot of the things I'll be talking about has to do with, that was like the main goal in mind we had.
Yeah.
So I'll just go over briefly the job descriptions of the team. So the CMO and marketing director worked very closely together. The CMO worked more with the C-level executives, so they would develop like the marketing budget, kind of do the overview of the initiatives for the year, for the business goals, and then they'd get a budget, and that would get directed to the marketing director. And again, they worked more directly with the team, with all their managers, the specialists, and kind of it all trickled down from there. So once you have a budget, that was basically you can see what you can and can't do with what you're looking, with your initiatives you're looking to do. Field marketing manager and specialist did, again, everything that's very customer facing. So anything from promotional items to the events to they worked hand in hand with the sales team. The content manager, who managed the digital specialist, the digital marketing and graphic designer, was very internal or external with branding, because it was the copyright, anything that's content, whether it's on the website, the promotional items, emails that go out, newsletters. It was all reviewed by them, and then you get the graphic designer working on the graphics, and then digital marketing played a big role, especially with the companies trying to advance in like technology and everything. So they would do a lot of like the analytics, marketing automation, the tools. If we do like an email campaign with like the landing pages and just making sure there's like a step-by-step situation going on, and everybody really did work together. So, and I'll go into that a little bit later in the presentation. So my job overview when I was there, when I worked at the company, I initially went into doing a lot of like events, like very field marketing. So I'd help with like planning the logistics, whether it was like calling other partners and vendors, if we were having an event, to have a photo booth there, or booking a reservation at the restaurant, selecting the menus, and it also went into details of working with the sales team of setting up the calendar invites, the pre-calls, to make sure everybody's on the same page, and the sales team knew what to expect and like what was expected of them as well. So let's see. So a lot of like the events I would do were a lot of like trade shows. So that's a lot of like lead generation. Also, we did lunch and learns, which was you would invite like your prospects, whether they're new or current prospects. And so we'd have usually like a speaking engagement there with, so it was like good relationships, like good with the sales team and the customers. And then, the whole point was to set up like follow-up meetings. I also worked, excuse me, with, I'm so sorry. I worked with also when I would get like a budget. So I knew that this event I had to stay under budget. With that included like the food, the catering, whether it was like hotel stays, travel, like it all incorporated together. When I would dip my hands in with content marketing, if I needed to do a trade show coming up, we'd have to announce to our existing email base that we were going to be at this trade show on this date. This is our booth number. So we would do then follow-up emails. So then I would work with the content. I would give them the details. They'd put it together and do all the digital aspect of it, and we'd have like a timeline. So it was, the first initial email, then it's the follow-up email, and then it's the reminder email, and then also there was the whole section of post-event. So it was, again, all the social media, like advertising on there and making sure that we had certain dates aligned of when this was going to go out. So it was a lot of like timeline and content creation for that. I also worked a lot like internal marketing that goes a lot of hand in hand with human resources, because if we have the holiday party events, it was kind of just organizing the company together and making sure again, the food was catered. We had banners and decorations and those things taken care of.
This is like event marketing?
No, this is event marketing, but this is like if I would work with internal marketing, which is like human resources. So if we had I would do besides the business cards and organizing any our holiday parties, or if they have company branding. So when we did onboarding, they would give them a little gift set, making sure that was up to the branding codes, and I helped order. So we would onboarding as the new employees coming in. So you'd give them a little welcome packet. Here's your pen, coffee mug, notepad. So making sure all that was ordered correctly. And just if they had their own announcements, making sure it aligns with our company branding and everyone had the same signature in the email and those type of little details. Yeah. So I'm going to jump into marketing campaign workflow. So the way it would work would be, again, the CMO and C-level executives would meet and kind of review for the year, whether they did it on a quarterly basis, kind of do the financial forecast and where they're going to allocate budget for the year in different departments. And then that would, again, once we get the budget approved, that would go to the marketing director, who would meet with the sales directors to identify budget allocation. So if maybe some So if a customer-facing events worked better than an email marketing campaign, we would allocate more budget towards the events. So we know we wanted to accomplish 4 events this quarter, 3 events the next quarter, and maybe have a very large one in third quarter, for example, and maybe do a little more emailing campaign then. So kind of just to offset and make sure everything was spread out accordingly. And then with creating campaigns, once we identified which campaigns were going to work best for the sales team, it was just, so the marketing manager and marketing specialist, which included myself, we'd strategize, create a plan, gather all the logistics for each campaign, and then this is where I explained where I'd work. Like if I needed email set up, I needed content for, a certain flyer going out, I work with the content team and the graphics team on that. So once that was in place, we would execute the logistics. So again, a lot of if it was shipping items, if it was coordinating a lunch reservation for 30 people, making sure we had a PowerPoint presentation going on, making sure also that PowerPoint was completed for the speaker, usually someone in our company, and just meet with the sales team on a phone call and discuss, so they're aware of what's going to go on and what's expected of them, and kind of follow up with them who their invites were going to be. And then we would do follow-up, which once the campaign was executed, we get the leads, and they'd follow through a workflow. And I'll explain that a little bit now, some tools we use to make sure we tracked the lead generation and if they were cold leads, warm leads, hot leads, and what was being done with them. Because, the sales teams had their own goals to meet within their department. So there's different marketing campaign types. There's 6 that I worked hands-on with. One of them being the direct mail. So that's something that you can be done at any point. I think it works best if you're doing an initial touch point, whether it's a welcome note or just again, it depends if you have a product or service. So that also varies your strategy, but also it could be exclusive leads if you're doing a direct mailing campaign. I'll give you an example. One of the leads that was really successful was the company I worked for. We offered disaster recovery services, so with the cloud backup. So I live in Florida. We had hurricane season coming up, so we did hurricane kits that we sent to a select exclusive group. So it was just the flashlight, it was batteries, candles, hurricane kit things that we don't sell that, but we would also at that point kind of throw in the disaster recovery that we offer this, just as a reminder, hey, are you ready for this? Get in touch with us. Is your system backed up? Are you ready to handle this if the hurricane hits and affects your company?
iCloud, right?
Right.
Good.
So that was just an example. It was a little, but you're not expecting to get a hurricane kit in the mail. So.
No way. That's...
And then also with field events, again, I had mentioned those, anything that's customer facing. Those are mainly done for lead generation, for new prospects, also including existing clients and just building relationships. This included whether it was trade shows, lunch and learns we did, happy hours, and just different types of anything field related events. Public relations is a big one because that is brand management, both internal and external. That can be done with something like a newsletter. You're sharing accomplishments of the company, whether it's awards they received or listings. We created internal blogs, so that would go on our website, but then that's something we could also share across different platforms. Share it internally with our client-based email list. If one of our executives did an interview, that would be obviously published online. We would share that on our platforms, save it to our website. So it was this constant creation of content and just, again, public relations. So it was also externally posted somewhere. So I think it's definitely take advantage of that to capitalize on it, to share it across all your platforms if something was, done through a third party. Another campaign type would be customer retention. So customer relationship management, I would say it's key for growth because it shows your value to your existing clients, and it's by nurturing your relationship with them. It also serves as an opportunity and opening to upsell as well. Then there's also emailing campaigns, which were my favorite. These are again done, I think, really good for an initial touch point. Maybe once they enter your database, you met them at a trade show or lead generation event, and that way you can start sending new information to existing leads when you have new information to share, and then also revisiting cold leads. So I mean, just like a follow-up, like, hey, we haven't heard from you in a while, like, check the latest out this, and again, it's sharing either your accomplishments, new services, new products, just as a good touch point. Email campaigns need their own workflow, so that's, again, where I would work hand in hand with the content team. So it was for landing pages, call to action, make sure the links were working, and then the analytic review, which was at the end, seeing how many clicks were done, how many emails were opened, how many, bounced. So, to see how, that kind of measures like our success on that. And then social media, of course, is a big and growing one in the past decade.
Yeah.
But, with the social media company messaging needs to be the same across like all platforms and consistent, whichever ones you utilize. There's some platforms that are going to be stronger for your company than others, so you need to identify those. Also, there's targeting online ads. So what I'm more familiar with is the LinkedIn and Facebook ones. I know there's Instagram ads and everything, but the ones I worked more on were LinkedIn and Facebook. For example, with LinkedIn, if you have your following, and then even if people don't follow your company page, you can target a certain level type. So if you're looking to target executives, who work in certain types of industries, like, you can do that and then, create the ad, and then, they're paid ads, and they would push through them, whether you're announcing an event and you want to have executives, who don't have already a touch point with you, like, see it and attend your event, then it's a good way to get it out there and boost your visibility with them. So social media strategy, let's see. So I found this article, it was really good. I linked it in the PowerPoint at the bottom, but just a few things that, and I'll touch on a little bit of each one, but so with the social media strategy, number one is, I think, to set achievable goals. So with that, you're getting something that's a little realistic, but also pushes you, and from there you can always adjust your goals if something works better for you, or you try different types of campaigns, different types of content, and then research your target audience. Also find out what platform they're on, where do they best resonate with, and the type of content they engage with. Establish your most important metrics. So if you're going to be, for example, on Instagram, you're going to be measuring your, how the content was sent, saved, shared with others, besides, the reach and everything. So where is it going to matter to you? Because maybe you're more on Facebook and you want more shares on there, and Instagram's maybe like your sub platform. So everyone's different. So I would say identify those.
Does your company have like a go-to third-party application for like social media analytics?
Yes. I'll go over that in my slide a little bit later. There's also, okay. So you analyze. I would say it's good to analyze and look at your competition. It doesn't. No shame in getting some ideas from them as well. Kind of just bouncing off each other, and they're looking at your stuff as well. So just give them something to look at. Create and just again, engaging content that's gonna be, you want call to action. You want someone to, because then again that just will boost it up more. I definitely recommend doing a content calendar, making sure you're on time with, if you're doing a campaign, making sure it's done in a timely manner, that you have the steps, beginning, middle, and end of each campaign. Then again, from there, when you're running campaigns, it's good to assess what worked and what didn't work, and then what you can tweak to kind of make it a little better. With your team, I would say communicate, your social marketing team, communicate your goals, the challenges you received, and that way you can bounce things off each other and feedback, and everybody has something to say about it, and also your wins. So what has worked for you and what is doing good for the company, and we're just all out of engagement on. So when it comes to measuring metrics, there's for social media and website is what we focused on. So for social media, I think it's important because it proves you can measure how successful a campaign is and how well your social strategy is performing. And then you can also just see the impact it's going to have on your business and the growth. Your ultimate goal with social media, conversion, so return on investment, that's with anything you do. But for sales, that would be your main goal, whether it's selling a product or a service. Website metrics, that's something, again, that helps more. The benefit of that is helping more to identify like where your traffic's coming from, who your audience is, and what is keeping them on your page. So you can see on which content's successful, whether it's like if you're sharing a lot of behind the scenes, content, if you're sharing more internal content, or your achievements, or just sharing more on the service and the products of. So it's always you gotta play around with it and see what works best for you. So some of the marketing tools that I've got introduced to over the years, for content marketing, I really like Pexels. So Pexels, it's all on the PowerPoint here. That's where you can get like a lot of like images. So if you need images for a newsletter, for an email campaign, for social media, like they're stock images. Some of them you pay for and some of them are free. So I think it's a really great tool to access. There's Hootsuite, which it's like my favorite one for scheduling, because that you can do all the platforms: LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest as well. And now when there is also the analytics of it. So back to your question, Anthony, there was on Hootsuite you can measure the analytics on there as well for like each of your posts. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then also I like is Linktree. So I use it on my blog, where if I have a few blogs, or let's say if you're constantly producing content, instead of having the one link that it allows on your Instagram handle on the top of your bio, Linktree, you can click it and then it can show. It depends if you have pro or free, but you can basically see like a multiple links, whether you want to link it to like your different platforms, or your different content on there. It's just like an easy kind of way to compile it all. Marketing automation tools. One of them that I learned a lot, I think it's really beneficial, is Marketo. So that is where, I'm going to go into this a little bit. So the way we would handle lead generation is we used also Salesforce, which is Salesforce. And so if that's where all the data from like the lead, we would have their name, email, company, touch point, which sales rep was responsible for them and had, is under their account. That would track it, and then it would connect with Marketo, and you could see if we targeted one person, for example, Jimmy, let's say. So we did Jimmy, we saw we met him at a trade show, he came to our event the next month, there was a meeting set up, and then he went silent. Okay, then let's re-email Jimmy and do a follow-up and see if he clicks on our link, and the Salesforce and Marketo both integrated together, they will track that. So you can see like it's a point scale. So you'll be able to keep that whole database and you can see their history of engagement, which is really important, because that way you can target them differently. So I really like Marketo, and that's inside Marketo is where you can also create like the templates and you do the workflows for email marketing. And that's, the email marketing campaigns all internally on Marketo. You can do the design there and everything. It's a really powerful tool, and I like it for marketing a lot. Dun & Bradstreet is something that I believe it's a paid service, but you can pull lists from there if you want. So they're subscribed in a certain way to Dun & Bradstreet, but basically you can pull an email list, email them like a campaign. If you can target if you're looking for, again, C-levels in a certain type of industry. You'll see a list, or even you can get companies if you want to like do cold calls or whatever works for you, but you can identify a lot of lead generation pool there. Okay. For digital marketing, what's really good is to know it's about MailChimp, because again on there you can create newsletters, a lot of templates, your email campaigns. It's really huge to have, whether you even as a blogger, to grow your email subscription list. Because again, no one can really take that away from you in a sense, and you constantly have that retention of people, and it's something you constantly want to be growing, because you can always target them, with emailing, with different promotions, and you have that pool, like your database. Pingdom or Google. Pingdom is a tool where you can test your website speed. So if you're working a lot behind the scenes on creating websites or you need to tweak some things, it will have you just basically would copy your URL into Pingdom or the Google search tool. It will break it down for you to let you know if your graphics are too big, or this page takes longer to load than this one. It's really good. So from there you can get your feedback and tweak on it. Canva is my best friend. That's where I made this PowerPoint on. But Canva is a very, very good universal tool to have with creating content. Again, whether it's a PowerPoint, social media, invites, resumes, just overall marketing, promotional material. It's a lot of it serves as a really good inspiration as well.
Yeah, let me tell you back.
Okay, I mentioned the Marketo lead generation as well. And then, okay, so some social media and marketing tips that I kind of just stuck out to me is just always keeping your messaging consistent, whether that's on your internal page with your website and then, all the content you're posting on there, then external with your social media, your emailing campaigns, your newsletters, your branding of banners, any flyer promotional items, giveaways. On social media, I've learned it's good to use, when you refer to yourself as the company, saying we. So if you're sending out a tweet as the company, you want to put, we just accomplished X, Y, and Z this year, because it makes it more personable with everybody else. Also, identify who and where your target audience is online, because maybe, instead of being in 4 different platforms that may not be beneficial to you, you might have that your target audience is on Twitter, and you want to focus more heavily on Twitter because that's where you're getting the most engagement, reaction, and growth. That's just an example, so whatever works for you. Also, cross-share on your other social platforms. So if you, again, are stronger on Twitter, but you still have the Instagram and Facebook thing going on, on Twitter, you can still show, or on Instagram, you could want to maybe highlight your Twitter page on there. Oh, follow us on Twitter to enter this contest, and you can advertise it on Instagram, but it ultimately links them to Twitter and lets other people know that you have those platforms, because a lot of people might only see you on Instagram and don't know you're on Twitter, and everybody uses their platforms differently. So again, create engaging content, and then the right people would follow. So again, whether you're doing a promotional, a giveaway, discount codes off your product, for a certain time with a code word. So it's just a lot of trial and error with all those things. And yeah, I think that's pretty much done. I kind of just went over my brief experience and things I've learned with in the corporate marketing.
All right, so that was a presentation by Tatiana, and I will have a link to her Instagram and blog in the description. And I think it was very good. It was good to see what some big corporations are doing to be able to get new leads and grow their business. So I hope that this was a very educational video for you, that you were able to learn something. And Tatiana, is there anything you want to add? Anything you want to share? Any self-promotion?
No, just my handle will be shared by Franco. So if you have any questions on either the presentation or just anything else, definitely reach out to me. I had a great time sharing my insight.
Thank you. Any comments by anyone else?
It was great.
It was a great presentation.
Set way too high of a bar for future presentations.
Ooh, yo, you're next.
What?
That's good.
Shout out to Canva.
Shout out to Canva. All right, so thanks everyone. All right, so thanks everyone. Again, this is Franco, your business vlogger, and I'm out.